Citizens across the world rose up on Saturday to protest Donald Trump and Elon Musk's dismantling of the government, the power grab, among many other things, right? So, this was the hands off demonstrations, and there were about 1,300 of them that was put on by over 150 different organizations, including civil rights groups, the labor unions, LGBTQ plus advocates, and over 1 million people showed up. That's awesome. In a statement released before the event, organizers said that Trump and his billionaire advisor at Doge, Elon Musk, have created an unnecessary crisis under the belief that this country belongs to them exclusively. They're taking everything they can, get their hands on our healthcare, our data, our jobs, our services, and daring the world to stop them. This is a crisis, and the time to act is now. So now, apparently, the protests in Washington, D.C., for example, were so packed that they had to do alternate events. And even places like small towns had hundreds of people show up, even thousands. Organizer Barbara Green told NBC Washington, "We thought we would give people the chance to show their strong feelings about what the government is doing and how it is hurting lots and lots of people." Green characterized Trump's short time in office during the second term as chaotic. Quote, "I can't even name all the ways things have gone off the rails." Yeah, it's been a real, how do we say it? Shit show. That's right. Yeah. That's as good of an explanation as any. And by the way, this is not just like libs turning out to protest. It's everyone. It's even Trump voters. In fact, Ramesh Budram of New York showed up because of Elon Musk's and Doge's attacks on Social Security. Budram said, "I'm a senior citizen. He wants to step into our Social Security checks. It's not nice." Well, yes, true. He's also said of Trump's term so far, quote, "I thought it would be a little better. He's saying he's going to drop the gas prices, the supermarket, the food stuff, but it didn't happen." Well, that's because that was never actually the plan. Wasn't the plan at all. Okay, the plan was to get into office, insulate himself from the law, and then loot the treasury. And that's exactly what has happened. Okay. Now, it even brought out a police officer. Well, a former police officer, to be fair. Frank Hickey, former police officer who took part in New York's hands-off protest, told Newsweek, quote, "This is what we're standing out here in the cold for. This is what we're getting fallen arches and stiff backs for. And I think it's important. This protest is an extension of the lawlessness of the Trump regime." Journalist Ken Klippenstein showed up at a rally in Wisconsin and asked people, "Why did you turn out?" So now he writes first that people are pissed at management writ large, with those who run the country, not just Trump or Elon, not just Republicans or Democrats, not just the apostocracy or corporate America, but all of them. Yes, there is this pervasive anger. One attendee told Klippenstein, "This is like an everything catch-all protest." In fact, here is one of the other protesters that Ken had interviewed.
We're here to protest the mistreatment of the American people and the Constitution and all of our rights.
What do you take issue with specifically?
I take issue with the fact that we've built this country for however many years just to let it fall into the hands of one man to make all the decisions, obviously going around the Senate, the Congress, all of it just to make any decisions on his very whim. That amongst with the oligarchy that make the decisions in line with those.
You mentioned Congress. How do you feel about how they're handling it?
How are they handling it? Do they? There are a few loud voices that are trying to do something, but there are a lot more quiet or silent people that are refusing to do anything, which is sometimes worse.
So you got this Luigi Mangione. How does that connect to Trump?
Again, that goes right along with the oligarchs who are lining the pockets of those that are in Capitol Hill. Luigi was very right when he talks about the parasites that are within the society. They are not at the bottom, they are those at the top, those that take and take and take from the rest of the people while giving very little back.
I will link to more of Ken's interviews in the description because I think that they were really, really interesting. But a common theme that I got from all of that is the fact that Congress is doing nothing to stop Elon Musk from gutting the government, and that people want Democrats to fight harder. One protester named Larry, who went after Doge, Musk, and Trump, said, quote, "I think the Democrats are a bunch of cowards, to be honest." Wow. Look, I don't disagree with that, okay? Democratic leadership is a disaster. Now, that said, Republicans, obviously, they're too cucked to Donald Trump to push back on any of this, and a lot of them actually do want this stuff. They want to dismantle the government. But the only concern that these Republicans have is, ooh, if I do that, I might lose my job. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my donors, my own wealth. That said, why aren't Democratic politicians fighting back in any meaningful way? I don't know. And that's kind of the problem. Yes, Cory Booker did a 25-hour non-filibuster filibuster. Look, that's actually pretty impressive. Like, going out and speaking for 25 hours, that is really impressive. It's also extremely performative, which I don't have a problem with, right? A lot of the politics is very performative. But Booker then voted to send weapons of destruction to Israel. Not good. In my opinion, it matters less what you say and more what you do. And so far, Democratic leadership hasn't really done a whole lot to oppose Trump in a meaningful way. I know that there's a limited way that they can do things. I understand that they are in the minority, okay? But there are minority powers that they can use to try to put a stop or at least slow down Trump's agenda. And we haven't seen a lot of that. So that said, these protests, they're not only anti-Trump and anti-Musk, but they've sent a message but that Democrats do need to put up some real resistance. That said, there were some really great protest signs that some people carried. In fact, I want to show them to you to get back to some fun here. Okay. All right. So there's one. Okay. Everything we touch turns to crap. Awesome. Little swastika right there. Then you got there will be hell to pay. Is that a Donald Trump coming out of the skibbity toilet? Does his ass like make my country look small? Gotta love that. And then Third Reich. It's one of my favorites. Third Reich. I love the signs and I love the direct action. Okay. And thankfully there will be more direct action. There will be more protest. That's good. The 5051 group, who was part of Saturday's protests, by the way, is promoting even more of them. They want protests in all 50 states to happen on April 19th. They stated that they wanted about 3.5% of the U.S. population, that's more than 11 million people, to participate in these protests because they see this number as a threshold for, quote, sustained resistance in order to make a difference. And that's really important as well. Look, I hope that this is the start of something bigger. And I have talked about before how normie Democrats, they need to become radicalized and show up. And now I think this is the start of what we're seeing. Trump voters who have regrets, independent voters who are angry at this far-right power grab, people who don't normally get involved in politics. That's what you want, to show up, to wake up the American people, to show up and say, no, we've had enough. We've had enough. Look, this is a coalition that will hopefully turn out to be able to change the system. And I don't mean just putting Democrats back into power, because I don't think that's going to fix things, right? Will it go, Will it be a good thing to get more Democrats back into power? It depends on the type of Democrats you put into power. You get more Wall Street people in there. You get more Rahm Emanuels in there, or Gavin Newsom. Then no, you're not going to see a lot of positive change here, right? But if you get people like AOC, people like Bernie Sanders, Tim Walz, well, there you go. That's going to make more of a difference. We need people who want to change the system for the better in power, and for all people, all Americans, to continue to pressure politicians into making real change that will benefit all Americans. And I mean healthcare for everybody, higher wages, more labor rights, civil rights. Getting Trump and his enablers out of office, I don't think should be the end goal. It would be a great thing. Okay, I'm in favor of it. But that should only be the beginning. What we need is real positive change that is lasting and benefits all of us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.